The second most visited place in all of America is not Disneyland. It is not Times Square. It is not the Grand Canyon. It is a house. That house is Graceland, the home of Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll. A single house in Memphis, Tennessee, with iron gates, a long white driveway, and a grave in the backyard. More people visit this one house every single year than almost any other place in the entire country. The only home that gets more visitors is the White House itself. And right now, that house is at the center of one of the most heartbreaking stories in American history, because the family behind it has been losing everything. One person at a time, one tragedy at a time. And just when the grief could not get any heavier, a criminal stepped out of the shadows and tried to steal it all. This is what actually happened to Graceland, and it is far sadder than anything you have been told before. Let us start with the first wound, the one that started everything. August 16, 1977. Elvis Presley was found unresponsive in his bathroom at Graceland. He was 42 years old. His heart had given out. And within hours, the entire world knew that the greatest rock and roll singer who ever lived was gone. But here is what most people never think about when they talk about that day. There was a little girl inside that house, Lisa Marie Presley, 9 years old, Elvis's only child. The one person on earth he loved more than music, more than fame, more than anything the world had ever given him. She had grown up in Graceland. She had run through those halls. She had sat beside her father at the piano while he played just for her. She had felt completely safe in his presence in a way that nothing else in the world ever quite matched. And on August 16, 1977, that safety vanished forever. She later wrote in her memoir that she had always been afraid of losing him. Even as a tiny child, she could sense something fragile about her father's life. She wrote that she used to find him passed out sometimes, that she watched him with worried eyes even when she was too small to fully understand what she was seeing, that she had written a poem as a little girl with one line that broke. Everyone who ever read it, "I hope my daddy doesn't die. He died." Now here is something most people do not realize about what happened to Graceland after Elvis died. The home did not just lose its owner, it lost its identity overnight. By the early 1980s, the estate was in serious financial trouble. Lisa Marie, now a teenager, was watching her father's legacy slowly being threatened not by enemies, but simply by the cold reality of what it costs to keep a 13-acre estate alive. So in 1982, 5 years after Elvis died, the family made the decision to open Graceland to the public. It was not an easy decision. This was their home, their private space, the place that held every memory of the man they had lost. Opening those doors meant letting strangers walk through the rooms where Lisa Marie had grown up, where Elvis had laughed and eaten breakfast and watched television and lived his real life away from the spotlight. But they did it. And what happened next surprised even them. They stood at his grave in the meditation garden and wept. Complete strangers, crying together over a man most of them had never met, but somehow loved as if they had known him their whole lives. Graceland saved itself by opening its doors. And in doing so, it became something even bigger than a home. It became the place the world came to grieve and celebrate and remember. Second most visited home in America. The financial crisis was solved. The legacy was secured. And for a while, it seemed like Graceland was going to be okay, but the family inside it was about to face something no ticket sale could ever fix, and Lisa Marie got the phone call that destroyed her. Her son, Benjamin Coe, was gone, 27 years old. Elvis's grandson, a young man who carried his grandfather's face so completely that people would stop mid-sentence when they saw photographs of him. The same dark eyes, the same jaw, the same quiet intensity, gone. People who knew Lisa Marie said she was never the same after that day. That something fundamental broke inside her that never came back together. That the grief of losing a child is the kind of grief that does not get better. It just gets carried. She carried it for 2.5 years, and then on January 12, 2023, her own heart gave out, 54 years old. Collapsed at her home in California. Rushed to hospital. Gone before the day was over. Priscilla Presley, who had already buried Elvis, who had already buried her grandson Benjamin, now had to bury her daughter, the little girl who had grown up in Graceland, who had ridden horses in that backyard, who had inherited everything and tried her entire life to protect it. They brought Lisa Marie home to Graceland. They buried her in the meditation garden right beside Elvis, father and daughter, separated for 46 years. Together again in the only home either of them ever truly loved. That garden, which had once held one grave, now held two. And the silence around them was the kind of silence that makes the air feel heavy. Graceland had lost its owner, and now it had lost his only child. Riley Keough inherited everything. Lisa Marie's eldest daughter, Elvis's granddaughter, 34 years old and holding more grief than most people accumulate across an entire lifetime. She inherited the trust that controls Graceland. She inherited the legal responsibility. She inherited the enormous weight of being the last Presley standing between this iconic home and whatever came next. She was still deep in mourning, still learning how to exist in a world without her mother in it, still finding her footing in a situation nobody had prepared her for. And that is exactly when the attack came, because that is when someone decided she was weak enough to rob. A notice appeared in a Memphis newspaper in May 2024, buried in the legal section, the kind of small print most people scroll past without reading. It announced that Graceland was going to be auctioned off. The notice claimed that before she died, Lisa Marie Presley had secretly borrowed $3.8 million from a private lending company, that she had used Graceland itself as collateral, that the loan had never been repaid, and that the company was now moving to collect by selling the property. The auction was set for May 23, 2024. Riley read that and felt the world tilt beneath her, because her mother had never borrowed that money, had never signed any agreement, had never once put Graceland up as collateral for anything in her life. Every single word of that notice was a lie. Someone had constructed an entirely fake financial history. Invented a loan, invented a debt, invented a company to claim it, and then forged Lisa Marie Presley's signature on the paperwork to make it all appear legitimate. They had deliberately waited until Lisa Marie was in the ground, until her family was shattered and exhausted and consumed by grief, and then moved quietly and precisely to steal the most important thing the Presley family had left, not violently, not loudly. With paper, with ink, with forged signatures on official-looking documents, the quietest and most calculating kind of theft imaginable. Riley did not collapse. She fought. She called her lawyers immediately, filed a lawsuit within days, and that lawsuit tore the scheme apart line by line. The company behind it, Nosani Investments and Private Lending, did not exist as a real business. It was invented, created entirely for the purpose of this fraud. The documents they had filed included what appeared to be a notarized signature of Lisa Marie Presley, complete with an official stamp and seal, to make it look real and legally binding. Investigators tracked down the notary whose name appeared on those documents. That woman told them she had never met Lisa Marie Presley in her entire life. Not once. She had never witnessed her sign anything. Her name, her stamp, her entire professional identity had been stolen and placed on fraudulent paperwork without her knowledge. Priscilla Presley got on Instagram, a grandmother in her late 70s, who had outlived her husband and her daughter and her grandson, who had given more to grief than any person should ever have to give. She posted a photo of Graceland on her Instagram page and wrote 2 words across it in large letters. "It's a scam." That image spread across the internet within hours, because something about seeing this woman, after everything she had endured, still standing at the gate and still fighting, hit people in a place that was very hard to explain but impossible to ignore. One day before the auction was scheduled to happen, a judge in Memphis called a hearing. He listened. He looked at what had been presented, and he stopped the sale completely. He said Graceland is irreplaceable under Tennessee law, that no financial compensation could ever make up for its permanent loss, that the harm to this family would be irreparable and permanent. The auction was blocked. The investigation continued, and eventually it led to a 54-year-old woman from Missouri named Lisa Findley. She had created the fake company. forged every document, posed as three entirely different people throughout the scheme to make it harder to trace. And she had launched the whole operation just months after Lisa Marie died, deliberately targeting a family at their most broken and vulnerable moment because she believed grief had made them too weak to fight back. She was catastrophically wrong about that. In February 2025, she pleaded guilty, and in September 2025, she was sentenced to more than 4 years in federal prison. So, this is what actually happened to Graceland. It lost Elvis in 1977. It almost collapsed financially in the years that followed. It saved itself by opening its doors to the world. It lost Lisa Marie in 2023. It lost Benjamin before that. It survived a brazen criminal fraud that came within 1 day of destroying everything, and it is still standing. Every morning, those iron gates open. Thousands of people walk up that long driveway. They stand in the jungle room. They look at the cars. They press their hands to the glass and stare at the gold records and the jumpsuits, and the objects that a man touched with his own hands decades ago, and they stand at that grave, in the meditation garden where Elvis and Lisa Marie lie, side by side, and they feel something that is very difficult to name but very easy to recognize, because some places hold the people who loved them long after those people are gone. Graceland is that place, and no amount of loss, no amount of fraud, no amount of time has been able to take that away.